Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch Muppet Treasure Island 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And we're very happy to have today's return guest back with us. She's been here with us for every movie. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tansy Rayner-Roberts.
Hi. Thank you for coming back.
Oh, thank you for having me. I always like to come in and talk about Muppets.
Yes, we always have fun with you as a guest. And you are here with us to talk about minutes 41 and 42 of Muppet Treasure Island, in which Kermit gazes at a picture and 3 pirate villains nab Gonzo and Rizzo.
Yeah.
So at the end of last week's clip, we just caught this very brief glimpse of Kermit gazing at this portrait of a lady pig. And as we begin this clip, Kermit is sort of imagining a voice, a familiar voice saying, "Oh, Smalley, my love for you is deeper than the deep blue sea." Now this...
So here's my question.
Yeah.
Do we count this as Miss Piggy's first appearance in the movie?
Yeah, I think maybe, but maybe not, because I was just going to say, this feels like, okay, this is telling us more about Captain Smollett's character, but also this feels like a message to the audience, like, okay, don't worry, Miss Piggy is going to be in this movie. Here she is. She's
coming.
A little morsel. Yeah. So we don't actually see the real Miss Piggy, but we do hear her here. So
it's interesting too, because I haven't recently watched the parts before this minute, but they don't actually spoil the character that she's playing at this point, do they? She's not actually Benjamin Gunn is not mentioned at this point, right? So the fact that
we don't know exactly what role this character plays in Kermit's life.
It's in the opening credits though. Miss Piggy is Benjamin Gunn.
Oh, okay. Is it?
Okay.
Okay. Well, in that case, it is.
Yeah, because it's Kermit the Frog as Captain Smollett.
Okay, so it does actually say.
But even if you're watching this movie for the first time, even if you've read the book Treasure Island, you would probably have no idea that that's, because Ben Gunn in Treasure Island is not the lost romantic love of Captain Smollett. So
that is true.
That is true, yes. And it's that thing, isn't it, of adapting stories and which role is she going to play. This is a story which doesn't have any significant female characters, which is interesting because when you hear people playing the meme, the game of what movie would you recast as the Muppets and then just have one human, and the problem is often so many stories have too many female characters and there aren't enough female Muppets.
Right. Yeah.
You can't do Pride and Prejudice unless half the sisters are in fact Fozzie and Gonzo, which would be great.
Oh, that could work.
I'm not saying you can't
just Gonzo as
straight
a
up.
In Pride and Prejudice.
Absolutely.
Gonzo would be Kitty, right?
Yeah, maybe. I think Kitty's only character point is talking to officers and sneezing. So
that's true.
Oh, and Rolf could be Mary. That would be great because they're playing the piano.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Female roles, and this is interesting because it's a novel which has, apart from the mother, just no roles for women. So I love that Miss Piggy has elbowed her way in, and suddenly there's a romance where there wasn't previously a romance.
Yeah. See, I still have not, and I probably at this point won't reread Treasure Island for this season of the podcast, but at this point I feel like I should read Pride and Prejudice because I never have, and it keeps coming up, so
it's a great
I gotta familiarize myself with the Pride and Prejudice characters.
Yeah. Or you could just watch the 90s miniseries, which pretty much covers it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you've never even seen either the Colin Firth miniseries or the Keira Knightley movie?
No.
They're both very good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll just pick one of those. But back in Muppet Treasure Island, we get several quiet seconds now, kind of not a lot happening for several seconds of this scene.
I must admit, the portrait is beautifully made. That's a really nice physical object. And I was thinking about the fact that, this is a story that gives us Kermit with hair. We get a really good close-up view of the wig as he turns around.
Yes. Yeah, his gray wig.
he actually
Right.
looks good in hair. And, like, normally Kermit in hair is, like, something to unsettle and distress the audience. But
Right, yeah, like in Muppets Take Manhattan.
Right,
Yeah,
he wears
yeah.
wigs in that too, yeah.
exactly. Or the whole, like, in later movies, things with moustaches. Like, it's wrong. But here it works. And I wonder if it's because the wigs are actually, like, the hair are supposed to be wigs, and so there's already an artificial... I don't know, but he looks good. It suits him.
So you're thinking this is not Captain Smollett's natural hair. This is a wig that Captain Smollett is
I
wearing.
would say so, just because that's the fashion of the era, is that men did generally wear wigs. And the fact that it's that colour, the sort of silvery white usually indicates a wig, though men did also sometimes powder their hair. Yeah, so it's very much an aristocratic thing. But,
and I guess he would be. I don't know if a ship's captain would be considered.
Yeah,
part of
I don't
the
know.
Aristocracy, but
That's true. But then sailors would wear their actual hair in that sort of style as well. So I don't know.
right.
I mean, clearly it is a wig because it's Kermit. Like, spoiler,
for Kermit
he
the
doesn't
Frog,
naturally
as
grow
a
hair.
puppet, yes.
Right.
And I assume they did their research to
Yeah,
to see what would look. Period.
but he has
what
the
would
look
accurate.
of, I think, because having seen a lot of films of this era, the officers in the Navy always have, like, the wigs and look very fancy. And he does have a slightly fancy look about him.
Oh, yeah, this is a very fancy look for Kermit. So he pensively looks at the picture for a few seconds, then he goes over to the window and he looks out at the stars for several more seconds, and as he does, a shooting star flies by.
Yeah.
Well, this is the third time in the movies that Kermit has looked up at a shooting star. Is that right?
I think so.
Because they don't, even though he's stepping out with a star, he doesn't see one.
Oh, no, I don't think he
right?
does.
Miss Piggy's the only
paper.
star in stepping out with a star, right?
Right.
But yeah, it's Muppet movie, Muppet Christmas Carol, during One More Sleep, Muppet movie Out in the Desert,
Yeah.
Christmas Carol during One More Sleep, and then here.
Yeah.
So it really is a recurring motif at this point.
And I think Brian Henson has said they kind of, in Christmas Carol, they did that as an homage to the Muppet movie desert scene, and then after that, because it happens in the Muppets 2011 for sure.
Yeah,
When
through the
there's-
roof, right?
There's a hole in the roof of the theater, and then does it happen in Muppets from Space? Maybe not, because
Gonzo goes out among the stars, but
you see plenty of
Gonzo,
stars.
the song "Shooting Star" is
Oh yeah, so who
by
needs
Earth, Wind, and
a
Fire
shooting star
is in the movie. Yeah,
when you have Shooting Star on the soundtrack? Yeah, but all right, so there's the Shooting Star. And then we see the ship on the ocean sailing through the dark.
It's a really pretty ship. Like,
It
it's
is,
such
and
a good ship. I'm sure you've talked about the ship already, but,
Yeah.
you know.
and any ship thoughts, please share them.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Well, just that it looked great. I mean, in recent years, I've spent a lot of time watching pirate media. I had a very deep, talk about Treasure Island, very deep Black Sails phase a couple of years ago, which has very nice ships. And even Our Flag Means Death, which is probably the most recent big pop culture pirate thing, had amazing ships.
Yeah.
Considering it's a sitcom. Like, amazing, really high quality. And this looks so good. Like, it looks very tangible. It looks like a real physical ship, which presumably it is. But yeah, it looks very pretty.
They built, I think, a full-size ship in the soundstage, and then also a model. I'm not sure how big the model was, but that might be what we're seeing here. But you can also see Kermit's silhouette in the window.
Yeah.
As he kind of moves and then steps away from the window, which is a nice touch. I guess that was matted in and filmed separately. I don't know.
Most likely. But I do like, because we just talked, I think, a couple episodes ago about how great the miniature looks for the ship.
Yeah.
And I like here that we get two shots in a row, that it's this night shot and then we see like it superimposed over the map in the daytime.
Yes.
Right.
And
it's just so fun.
The recurring motif, like that immediately made me think of, is it the 2012 Muppets? I don't know, the recent Muppets, where they openly talk about like how we get there, we travel by map.
Travel by map.
Yeah.
The 2011 movie, yeah.
Yeah,
and that's something we've often seen in other Muppet things, that it just, I think that I think that may have been the first time they actually hung the lampshade on it.
That they announced.
Otherwise, as opposed to just doing it.
Right, so that's the next thing we see. They dissolve to the ship in the center of the frame in daytime, and sort of flanking the ship on either side is this map. We can see that they departed from Bristol, and there's this animated red line that follows their progress toward the Caribbean Sea. The map also shows a few little drawings of animals that look kind of like dolphins, but also kind of like they have feathers growing out of their heads.
I mean, that's a very vintage map thing. They would draw these amazing mermaids and weird creatures just to decorate it.
Whoever made the map just saw a dolphin and drew the best recreation of it that he could, I guess. Yeah. But then I did get to thinking, how old is this device of showing an animated line on a map to show the progress of characters in a movie as they travel? I found a post on a blog called The Maps and Views, written by a guest contributor to this blog called Roland Francois Lac. And mostly covers the earliest examples of maps being used as props in movies. But then it also says this about animated maps. Now a convention in narrative fictions, it has its origins in documentaries such as F. Percy Smith's Fight for the Dardanelles in 1915.
Wow.
So based on that, it seems like it was first used to visually demonstrate military movements. Like, here's where the ships are going to the other country's territory. And then it goes on to note a 1936 short called Hell Unlimited, and then Casablanca, which is, of course, from 1942, as early examples of animated maps in fictional narrative movies.
That's so interesting. I would have guessed it was a thing from animation, like from Looney Tunes or something. So
sure, yeah.
That's really interesting that it actually came out of documentary.
I wonder, and there might be other examples that are that fall in between. And if any listeners out there know anything more about that, I'd love to hear about it. I think a lot of people maybe associate it with Indiana Jones. That was kind of a comeback of that device, inspired by some of those old adventure movies.
Yeah.
Oh, and then of course we should note that Follow That Bird also has a couple of animated map sequences as characters are making their way across the country looking for Big Bird.
And one that I always think of is The Emperor's New Groove, where we see where we see Kuzco and Pacha going towards Pacha's village, and also Yzma and Kronk, and they're like dueling.
Yeah, and it becomes like a little
lines.
Computer game.
Yeah.
Oh, the two lines are
like racing and passing each other and zipping around. Yeah.
Oh, that's
love
funny.
that.
It's been a long time since I saw that.
It's such a good movie.
Worth a rewatch. Yeah, anytime.
Sure.
Great movie. Holds up.
Okay. So Pride and Prejudice and The Emperor's New Groove.
Yep.
That's going to be such a great time for you.
Double feature.
Yeah.
Okay. So next it is morning on the ship, and various crew members are doing their thing on deck. We have this Muppet who last season we learned is named Mr. Bittis or Bittis. This is the guy with the big fluffy red whiskers. It looks like he's shaving. Like he's holding something in his hand and kind of rubbing it on his face. I think maybe he's shaving. Did you happen to notice any other Muppet or human crew members doing anything notable in the background?
Well, I mean, obviously the foreground kind of shot is Jim and
Long John.
And Long John.
And Long John, yes. Yeah. And he's mucking around with the stick and he's showing how charming they are, their lovely little warm and cozy friendship and having a nice time.
Yeah, although it seems like kind of a weird game they're playing because Jim is running around with Long John's crutch.
Yeah,
and
don't
Long John
steal
has
the
to
crutch
kind of hop
from a
around
man with one leg. That's not cool, Jim.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a mean game.
It's weird because it looking at the two of them, Long John seems like he's having more fun than Jim.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Long John is laughing. Jim looks like he's just kind of focusing.
He looks like he's concentrating very hard.
Well, probably it's a really hard thing to do if you haven't practiced.
Right, yeah.
Walking with a crutch when you don't actually need to.
Yeah, while surrounded by Muppets.
Right. And I mean, surrounded by holes in the floor for puppeteers.
Yeah.
Oh,
If we want to talk about the
Maybe
real
that's
life,
why.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the real life reason why he's concentrating so hard.
Yeah. But Long John's loving it. He's just laughing it up. So, which makes me think that he was like, "Come on, Jim lad, take my crutch and let me chase after you."
Right.
Absolutely. He is so into this friendship. Like, he's very invested in it, and he's so convincing as the friendly person that even though most people coming into Treasure Island, like, the one thing that you know is that Long John Silver's the bad guy, right? Like, generally speaking, that's what most people know. He is so convincing as just a perfectly innocent, lovely pirate who just wants to be friends.
Yeah, just a friendly father figure. So Gonzo and Rizzo see these two passing by and call out to them. Rizzo says, "Hello, Jimbo." And Gonzo says,
Love that.
Yeah.
They're so excited to see Jim or Jimbo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they call out to both of them and get ignored.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. The humans don't even notice Gonzo and Rizzo.
Yeah.
They just want to hang out with human beings.
And they're
That's what they
sitting
said.
on the most beautiful pile of coiled rope. Like, it's really pretty rope in this lovely heap. And Rizzo has his little tankard, which is adorable. And Gonzo is straight up eating... Is it a donut or a bagel?
Looks like a bagel to me.
Is it a bagel? Because it does look like it. And I was trying to think, they probably didn't eat bagels on sailing ships.
But the thing is, I wonder if it's actually supposed to be more of a biscuity kind thing. Because
I thought, like, hardtack is...
It's
I don't
clearly
know exactly
very
what
hard.
Hardtack is, but maybe something...
He is taking bites out of it. And I watched it the second time and realised the bite does get bigger. So it's not just that he's like... So he actually takes... He takes a bite, and then he takes a second bite, and the bite is bigger. And then I'm spending a long time thinking, how'd they do that?
Is that between shots?
It's not. And so I'm like, did I imagine it? But it does look to me as if it's like there's a first really good bite out of it, which I don't think we've actually seen him do. And then it does look as if the bite has got bigger.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's just like crumbs falling off, or
maybe, or they'd like had a little bit ready to go.
It's not real food, but
yeah. Huh. Wow. Yeah. Movie magic once again.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, and then Rizzo has his little, you call it a tankard. At one point he's kind of shaking it around. I don't know what's in there. If that's his morning coffee, maybe he's shaking it to, like, he just poured some creamer in there. I don't know. Rizzo is annoyed. He says, "At least one of us is having a good time." Gonzo says, "Rizzo, it's not so bad. Angel Marie said that later on he'd throw a line out the back and let me drag along the bottom."
Yeah.
So I have two things about this.
Yeah.
One is that we talked earlier about being unsure of Angel Marie's gender.
Yes.
And I guess that this solves that. Like, Gonzo appears to be friends with him. Like,
yes.
I don't know.
I assume that if he's had these conversations with Angel Marie, that he knows Angel Marie's, pronouns.
Right. But also, I love the idea that Gonzo and Angel Marie have become buddies off screen.
Sure, yeah.
But also, they've become buddies by him threatening to keelhaul Gonzo. Because the thing about being dragged on the rope underneath...
keelhauling is, right?
Yeah, that is keelhauling. That is the worst thing the worst punishment that pirates do. And again, going back to Black Sails, there is an episode in which we physically see this done, and it's the most horrific thing I've ever watched on screen.
Ugh.
Yeah. Yeah, Ray Stevenson as Blackbeard. And yeah, it is the most horrific, violent scene I've ever seen depicted on. It's not... And this thing of, like, Gonzo being, this will be fun, which sets us up for what's going to happen next. But because Gonzo, as we know,
that's true. Yeah.
Very pro-torture.
Reminding us of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and then, of course, that wouldn't be the first time that Gonzo has been dragged by a boat, because there's the scene in Muppets Take Manhattan where he does the stunt with the motorboat that ends up dragging him through the water.
Yes, that's a little bit different in style to what keelhauling involves, but yes.
Maybe less painful, I guess it must be.
And it's different because Angel Marie does sound like Tony Bennett. So.
Yeah, much more like Tony Bennett. Rizzo says he's not too sure about this crew. He feels like they're always watching him, waiting to pounce.
Yeah.
Gonzo says, "That's just a figment of your imagination." And hey, this is Dave Goelz, like Dave Goelz' character, saying the word figment. And a few years after this, Dave Goelz became the new voice of Figment at Epcot at Disney World. How about that?
That is, it's all true.
Okay.
If I hadn't pointed that out, somebody would have on the Discord. So I just wanted to throw that in there. But no sooner does he say this than this little door opens behind them, and Clueless Morgan grabs both of them and yanks them inside with an evil laugh.
So that's the one that looks like a goat.
Yes.
He's a goat, yeah.
He is a goat, yeah. Yeah, that was really
Polly
well
is a
done.
lobster. Yeah. We're not quite sure what Mad Monty is. Some kind of monster, apparently.
You're saying the effect of him grabbing Gonzo and Rizzo is
yeah, coming out of the whole door and grabbing them and taking them, like that all, I think, was done very smoothly, considering.
Yeah.
So like they must be pulling those puppets off the puppeteer's hands in the final shot.
And Clueless is a live hand puppet. He's not saying anything.
No, he does laugh.
He laughs. So it's two different people's hands grabbing Gonzo and Rizzo, you know?
Oh, yeah. I guess.
It's not one guy grabbing both of them. It's two puppeteers operating the two hands. So it really does look really smooth, considering all that.
Yeah. Wow. These guys are good at their jobs.
Yeah, they are. It's true.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Rizzo and Gonzo tied up, as Rizzo says, "This is a figment of my imagination."
Well, and this whole movie, Rizzo has been worried about everything.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's kind of Rizzo's whole character in this one. And it's understandable that Gonzo dismisses his fears, but this is the one time when his fears prove to be accurate.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, most of his fears are perfectly grounded in reality, ultimately. He's, a lot of things he's worried about are things I think most normal people would be worried about. He's just cursed to be friends with Gonzo, who doesn't fear anything.
Yeah. But no, you're right. Anything could go wrong when you're on a ship. And so his fears may be justified, even if he has a lot of them.
Yeah.
There was an earlier episode, I forget what the exact moment was, where we commented on something, a transition in this movie that felt like it was something out of a sitcom. This feels like that too, to me, where we go from Rizzo, or from Gonzo saying, "It's a figment of your imagination," to then they're tied up.
Immediate.
Says, "This is a figment of my imagination." It's very kind of sitcom-y.
Yeah.
And yes, they're being held captive now by Polly, Mad Monty, and Clueless Morgan. Of course, we don't know yet in the story the intentions of all the other crew members. We did already hear the little interlude in Sailing for Adventure where these three characters sang about their nasty fantasies about doing harm to the good guys. So we are. This is not really a surprise that these guys are up to no good. But at this point, we still don't know about anybody else on the ship.
It's interesting that they've broken early, effectively, to kind of grab these guys. And Rizzo was wondering out loud and voicing suspicion, but it wasn't enough that... Yeah, so it's interesting they've kind of shown their hand as being evil a little bit earlier than needed.
Yeah, because presumably there's still quite a bit of sailing left to go. Quite a bit of this trip left, but here they go. Polly says, "Tell us where the map is, or we'll tear you limb from limb."
Yeah, and so I would guess, Ryan, that you have the same association with that phrase that I do, I would think, which is in Duck Soup, Edgar Kennedy says it to Harpo and Chico when they keep getting in the way of his lemonade stand. "I'm gonna tear you limb from limb, limb from limb."
I had forgotten that, but it sounds familiar now that you say that.
Yeah.
And I do love that scene.
Yeah, it's honestly, maybe my favorite scene in a movie ever.
Oh, wow.
Is that lemonade vendor versus peanut vendor stuff in Duck Soup.
Yeah.
So I've seen that scene so many times. So I think that's why it sticks in my head so clearly.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I hear that phrase.
Huh. Yeah, tear you limb from limb. Gonzo says, "My friends and I will never tell," but Rizzo is not nearly as defiant. He's prepared to talk. If they ask real nice, he says maybe they'll ask real nice. Monty says, "In your dreams."
So Rizzo was so eager to sell his friends out in Muppets at Walt Disney World.
True.
And I kind of wish we had that version of him here. Instead of being sweaty and nervous, if he was like, cut me in on your treasure, and I'll tell you.
Oh, yeah, if he was more, like, cool guy about it.
Yeah,
like, okay,
especially
listen, let's make a deal.
Because he's already running his business. Like, we know he's in it for profit.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's interesting, but it's definitely he is not prepared to get hurt in any way. And Gonzo is like, bring it on. Whereas, as we know, Gonzo has this particular relationship with torture and pain, which is about to unsettle everybody. So
yes. But this is consistent with Rizzo's behavior in this movie so far. But here's something interesting about Monty's line. In 2016, on the Muppet Mindset website, our friend Jared Fairclough interviewed Muppet performer Andrew Spooner, who worked on this movie. Spooner revealed that he was puppeteering Mad Monty in this scene because Jerry Nelson was unavailable. And he said he wasn't sure, but he suspects that his voice is what you hear when Monty says "in your dreams," because he thinks they never looped it. So I did go back and listen again. It really sounds like Jerry Nelson. But it's definitely possible that Andrew Spooner is a good mimic and just managed to sound a lot like Jerry Nelson.
Yeah. It sounds like Jerry to me. So I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Hey, there could be extenuating circumstances. I mean, what maybe they'll ask real nice.
In your dreams.
But yeah, so Polly says, "Do it, Monty." To which Gonzo responds, "Do it to me." So Gonzo is just so excited. He doesn't know what they're about to do, but he's
into it regardless.
Right. And so what I believe he says is, "Do it to me. Do it."
Yeah.
Which is like he loves it so much. Like you kind of expect Estelle Reiner to pop up and say, "I'll have what he's having."
Yeah, absolutely.
A little bit.
You know?
Yeah. He's in that zone. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, and I didn't mention Rizzo is tied to this upright vertical wooden post, but Gonzo is tied to the wall horizontally. We see both of his hands and both of his feet, and they all have ropes tied on them. So at Polly's signal, Monty turns this wheel on the wall, and there's this ratcheting sound as the ropes yank at all of Gonzo's limbs, both his arms, both his legs, all his limbs stretch out. It looks very painful, but again, Gonzo is so into it.
Yeah, he's having a great time. He's excited about becoming taller.
Yes, he says, "Yes, I'm taller. This is so cool."
It's so because in any other movie, especially any other live action movie, this action would be so unsettling.
Yeah, so painful to watch.
And it's like it's like one of the funniest things in the movie.
Yeah.
I think.
Absolutely.
I was actually surprised too at how quickly it all goes by once it starts. Like, I was expecting the gag of turning the wheel, the arms and legs stretching out to take longer for some reason. In my memory, it just took longer. But really, it goes by so fast. It's just turn the wheel, and then his arms and legs are both so much longer, just like that. And Gonzo says, "I may even have a future in the NBA."
Yeah.
Now, excuse me, the NBA wasn't founded until 1946, sir. So
well, he says in the future.
That's true. He did say
in the future, right?
Future.
You're right. You're right. I mean, obviously, I was kidding about the anachronisms bothering me, but you're right. I can't even argue with that.
I may have a future 200 years from now in the NBA.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is interesting that not just the whole relationship with Gonzo and Payne and him being just a little bit kinkier than all the other Muppets, but he is just genuinely a very positive-minded character, especially in this. Like, he's seeing the best side of everything. Like, he's happy to be stretched and taller. And in every bit, we were talking about the keel hauling earlier, and he heard that as being a fun water activity as opposed to something that would, flail the skin off his body, which is what it did in real life. It was really bad.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gonzo has a lot of range, and part of that is just because the character's been around so long and performed by the same puppeteer for that whole time.
Absolutely.
But because he can do melancholy, and you can feel really sorry for Gonzo, but also, he approaches a lot of things with this very this is so cool kind of attitude.
Yeah, and it ties all the way back to the version of the character in the Muppet Show where he's the danger monkey, he's always doing the crazy things, and he's fearless, and he knows it's going to blow up in his face, and he almost isn't even put off a lot of the time when his stunts go horrendously wrong because it was really fun.
Yeah. Increasingly over the course of the Muppet Show, that's his. That's what he lives for.
Yeah.
This did inspire me to Google who were the tallest people ever to play in the NBA, because I don't know how tall Gonzo is going to be at the end of this, but he is very long with those arms and legs. But it's a tie, actually. I'm going to probably mispronounce this name, but Georges Morazan and Manute Bol.
No, that's Mirasan, and you remember him from the Billy Crystal movie My Giant.
Oh, it's that guy?
He co-starred with Billy Crystal in a movie, yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, thank you for that. Thank you for putting it in terms that I understand, not sports. Yep. So they and Manute Bol are the tallest people to ever play in the NBA. Both of them are 7'7".
Yeah, and you remember Manute Bol on that SNL sketch about the ESPY Awards, where he accepts the ESPY Award for tallest basketball player, and his acceptance speech is, "I'm not the tallest person in the world."
I don't remember that. Was it really him?
Yeah, it was really him, yes.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Yeah, you're not going to have, Tim Meadows play Manute Bol or whatever.
Well,
right?
I mean, who knows? But that's funny. I'm going to have to look that up later. So Polly is frustrated by Gonzo's joy. He says, "This isn't working. He likes it. Let's do it to the rat." Rizzo says, "Huh? No." And he starts struggling. And that's where this clip ends.
It is.
So what kind of awful torture are they going to do to Rizzo? We'll just have to wait until next week to find out.
Yeah.
One thing right there at the end, I love Kevin Clash's delivery of, "This won't work. He likes it. Let's torture the rat."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like how disgusted he sounds by the whole thing.
Yeah, they're all unsettled. And really that's Gonzo's superpower, is that he unsettles even the people trying to do harm to him, to the point that they stop doing harm to him.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a weird defense mechanism that works for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I guess he was a little bit more normal in Christmas Carol, so...
Yeah, because he was playing very much a fairly stately part, whereas this is Gonzo being allowed to be weird.
Yeah, he gets to be a little weirder here. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, so that's the end of these 2 minutes. I have one thing from the June 1st, 1994 draft of the screenplay. Actually, two things. There's a scene in the nighttime sequence where Gonzo and Rizzo fall asleep in hammocks on the deck, and then a sea serpent swims past the ship. That would have been cool to see.
Yeah. A Muppet sea serpent? Does it specify?
I assume so.
That would be really
maybe,
cool.
Who knows? Maybe a Creature Shop sea serpent. That would have been cool. And then there's also a moment in the draft in the morning where the figureheads of Statler and Waldorf are playing I Spy. Statler says, "I spy with my little eye something that starts with W." It's a wave. And Waldorf spies something that starts with S. It's a seagull. Statler spies something that begins with A, and it's another seagull. And Statler says, "Is this the adventure we were sailing for?"
Oh, that's cute.
That's a cute joke. Yeah, they could have done that. That I almost wonder if that's the kind of thing they shot and then cut from the final cut of the movie.
Would not be surprising.
Yeah. And then as long as we have Polly Lobster in this scene, I had something that I didn't get to earlier, which is from when our friend and frequent podcast guest Danny Horn interviewed Jerry Jewell for Muppet. He had this to say about Polly. "The character changed with every draft we wrote. Polly started out as, wait for it, a parrot. But the writers hated the old cliche of a parrot named Polly, so we renamed her Amazonia and gave her a sultry Marlene Dietrich quality. Over the next few drafts, she and Long John developed a strange, ephemeral, romantic relationship. It got very weird. Eventually it got too weird. Amazonia was sent to the home for unused characters. So, instead of Polly, we could have had a sultry Marlene Dietrich parrot giving the order to torture Gonzo in this scene. Just think about that.
See, as far as explanations why they never have enough female characters in the Muppets, I have not previously heard because they have too much weird sexual chemistry with Tim Curry. But it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have talked earlier about how it would have been great for Louise Gold to have more to do in this movie. And that sounds like an ideal part for her to play.
Yeah, she would have been great at that. But,
they had to roll it back.
That's not what they ended
It's
up
interesting, though, the Polly, who's a crab, is kind of the same joke that we see later on with, in, one of my favourites, The Muppet Wizard of Oz, where it's Toto is Pepe the Prawn. So it's straight up my pet prawn, who then becomes a Muppet prawn. And just that whole thing of a character that's a more traditional animal that becomes a crustacean instead.
Yeah, that's funny that they did it twice.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah,
I know.
Wow.
I hadn't thought about by that stage, they had perhaps the more regular, because they were looking for things to do with Pepe the Prawn. But I do love a Muppet crustacean. There's something about this.
Sure.
And as we've been teasing for literal years at this point, you will be back for our bonus episode of Muppets Wizard of Oz.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we still have another movie to get through before we get to that.
I know,
but we will. It'll happen. Yeah. But I was just thinking, okay, if they did, are there any animals in Pride and Prejudice? Any prominent animals in that they could replace with a crustacean if they did do that?
I mean, there's horses, right? There's carriages.
Oh yeah, there's horses. Yeah, there's not really any iconic pets. I don't think. You could maybe put in a lapdog or something, but no, nothing that's significant. I think it is all really. But again, there's that thing of all the extra sisters. So
Mm. So just replace all the horses with some kind of crustacean with
maybe
snails. Replace all the horses with snails. I don't know.
Yeah, or just have some of the larger, Sweetums or something, just pulling all the carriages.
Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah. Are snails crustaceans? I don't even know. Somebody's. I
don't know. I don't know enough about snails, but I would love to see a giant Muppet snail pulling carriages. That sounds amazing.
That would be fun. Yeah. Anyway, so that's everything I have. Anything else about these 2 minutes specifically, starting with you, Tansy?
No, well, again, I'm often thinking about the clothes. When Rizzo is tied to the mast, we get really good close-ups of the garments that he's wearing and all the little, hems and stuff. And the same with the shot of Smollett right at the beginning where he turns around. And if you're not just admiring his wig, you can also see really good close-ups of the beautiful piecework of the jacket and the collar and the sleeves. And, it goes to show that level of precision. Muppet clothes are always something that kind of fascinate me because, they are these bespoke designs. And in this case, because they are going for this really specific look of the vintage sailor pirate clothes, and they've all got gorgeous outfits. Everyone looks good dressed as a pirate.
Sure, yeah. And our previous guest, Patrick Cotner, told us that this Kermit's Smollett costume was recently auctioned off in a Planet Hollywood auction for how much? Do you remember, Anthony?
I was going to look it up right now.
It was in the tens of thousands of dollars.
That's amazing.
And it went for much more than Tim Curry's costume did, which I thought was funny.
Well, that makes sense because,
the frogs.
That work done in miniature. But no, I mean, the costumes are fabulous. And it's interesting, that overall look, because they're all wearing these sort of, really detailed and not super cliched pirate stuff either. They're not all in, red and black stripes or whatever. It's really nice.
There's a couple
kind of rustic colours and yeah.
Yeah, you're right. There's a variety of costumes. Yeah.
It has a bit of the BBC costume drama feel about it. In a lot of the scenes, the way that the costume and the detail that they've gone into, which ties back to what they were doing with Christmas Carol as well.
Yeah. Yeah, they just have to make all the costumes at Muppet size. So. So there's that added challenge. Anthony, anything else about these 2 minutes or anything from The Strange Case?
So The Strange Case, actually, literally nothing in this scene is in the book.
Okay.
Right? There's no torture of sidekicks.
Right, because there are no sidekicks.
Jim doesn't steal Long John's crutch for a goof. For a laugh. And Captain Smollett sure doesn't think wistfully about Ben Gunn.
Right.
So yeah, nothing. Absolutely nothing at all.
That's it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Tansy, we always ask our guests 2 questions. The first one being, what is your history with this movie? Do you remember the first time you saw it and so on?
Oh, that is so interesting. I must have seen it pretty close. Oh, no, I'm thinking about it. Which year did this come out?
1996.
Okay, I have really specific memories of this movie. So this was the first year I was at uni, and I had been to an all-nighter party the night before.
Oh, okay.
Not like a big rager kind of thing, but definitely the kind where you don't get much sleep.
Right.
And the following day, a friend had asked me out to the movies just to see this. And so I watched it on no sleep at 18 years old, which is obviously a different experience to watching something on no sleep at my age, which is currently 46. But at 18, watching this on no sleep, it was actually quite a hallucinatory experience. Without the need for, any expensive illegal substances. I was just full-on tunnel vision, no sleep. So I definitely feel like I probably needed to watch it a couple more times later to really absorb it. But it is one hell of a movie to watch when you are in a weird state of mind.
I would think when Cabin Fever started, you might feel like some sort of substance had just kicked in.
Yeah, basically.
If you were sleep deprived.
It was weird. That's so funny, because my first thought was I don't remember when I first started. No, because this one was released so late. This is the point at which it was my first official adult Muppet movie watching experience, because I was 18. I know. It's weirdly wholesome as well. It's stay up all night at a party and then go watch a Muppet movie.
No, yeah, I do like that.
Go watch Muppets, yeah.
Hey, now that you've been to this all-night party, you want to go see the Muppet movie?
Absolutely. Yeah. So mostly I just remember a blur of colour and shiny things.
Right. So the second question is, where do you rank this one among the other Muppet movies?
Oh, see, pretty high for a long time. I certainly, if I was picking one to watch randomly, this is very high on the list of rotation I would pick. I certainly preferred it to Christmas Carol. So until, as we all know, my favourite Muppet literary adaptation is Wizard of Oz, but until that one came along, this was definitely my preferred of this. Mind you, I really loved Muppets from Space, so it isn't my favourite 90s Muppet movie, Treasure Island.
Okay.
It's I guess my second favourite. I enjoyed it. I feel like it is in danger of being, in some ways, overrated, largely because it just feels like it's everybody's favourite in a big way. For instance, Tim Curry's amazing as Long John Silver, but I hear people rave about it to the point where they're not talking about any of the other stuff he's done, So,
that's
sure,
yeah. I think it is one that gets a lot of attention, but actually, when I sit and watch it, it is just really annoyingly good. And because I've deep dived into, when I watched it, I didn't know anything about Treasure Island. I'd never...
Right.
I think the only thing I knew about Treasure Island coming into this movie was based on references from Arthur Ransom novels, which are these old British novels about posh children who go sailing, and they make lots of literary references. So they call the uncle Captain Flint, and, you know, there's a few references here and there. Characters like Ben Gunn I only knew about because of being referenced in these children's books. I'd never read actual Treasure Island or seen a movie of it. Whereas in recent years, I had my Big Black Sails phase, which is basically the very dark, gritty, adult reboot sort of prequel to Treasure Island, which is amazing. Oh. Like, it's an amazing show. The Treasure Island it is a prequel to is not a Treasure Island anybody has ever got to see, but it is. If you're interested in, like, pirate action adventure, it's just such a good show. So the idea is that it was a prequel to Treasure Island, but it also it brings in actual pirate history as well. So it's got, for instance, John, you know, it's basically young Long John Silver, who is not really a villain. He's definitely an anti-hero, and Captain Flint. Like, those are the main two characters in it. But they also bring in a lot of real historical pirates along the way, like Anne Bonny and Calico Jack, and pretty much Blackbeard, every famous pirate ever is also in this show. It ran for 4 seasons. It is amazing. Having said that, like, I got into that, and because of that, I actually did go and read Treasure Island. That summer, there was a kids' play locally of Treasure Island as well, which we kind of went to see, and I reread the book, and so I now know a lot more about Treasure Island. I feel like watching the movie. I think I did watch this movie since and found I got a lot more out of it. So it's actually one that I have grown to love more, even though, like, I didn't hate it back in the day. I just, you know.
Sure.
It was definitely pretty high on the list, but I think it's probably higher now just because all the references and all the cool things, and I just like pirates a lot more than I did in the mid-90s.
Yeah, it sounds like you're quite a pirate adventure story. I am now, connoisseur. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so, yeah, I think it's fantastic. It holds up beautifully. Yeah, the performances are great. Even things like I remember the kid being kind of terrible. Like, I kind of remember that. Like, the soppy kid bits, people don't really like the human parts, and because the other human is Tim Curry. But actually, the actor who plays young Jim has kind of gone up in my estimation as well, because I came across him as an adult performer recently in Plebs, which is a British TV show, which is one of my all-time favourites. It is a sitcom set in ancient Rome. And it's basically about kind of drop-out young men, but living in ancient Rome. So it's like a modern comedy, but as somebody who specialised in the history of ancient Rome, while it's a modern show full of modern jokes, it's also very, very good ancient Rome depiction.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bizarre show. Very, very funny, amazing cast. And he actually, I can't remember the actor's real name.
Kevin Bishop.
Okay, so he came in as a replacement character in the last 2 seasons after Joel Fry went off to be famous, and ironically to be in Our Flag Means Death. And while he's not nearly as funny as Joel Fry, which is very hard to hit, he is, you know, he does very well in the show. And it was weird seeing, and when I made the connection back that, like, why does his face seem familiar? I realised the only thing I'd seen this kid in was Muppet Treasure Island. And I was just like, like 30 years earlier, and I'm just like, wow. So I'm even fonder of him in retrospect, whereas I do remember thinking he was a bit sappy and, you know, not really enjoying his character as much as the rest of it the first few times I watched the film.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who would agree with you, but it's not unanimous. It's interesting. I mean, it's hard, I think, in general for kid actors.
Absolutely.
That we've talked about Kevin Bishop's other credits, but I don't think that show. You said it's called Plebs?
It's called Plebs, yeah.
I don't think that's come up yet.
Yeah, so there was, like, he's in seasons 4 and 5, and then there was a movie that they made to, like, finish it up.
Oh, wow.
The show a couple of years ago. So it's quite a reasonably recent show.
Yeah.
Looks like it is streaming on Tubi in the US.
It is. It is really fun. It's a bit raunchy. It's got a lot of like very adult humor in it. Just, if you're coming to it from the Muppets, just be prepared.
Yeah, that's a good disclaimer.
Same is true of Black Sails, by the way. But in a very different way. But I love plebs because historical sitcom is actually one of my favourite genres. I love comedy done with history, which of course is something that Muppet Treasure Island is itself doing, different kinds of humour. But
yes, right.
Yeah, and because ancient Rome is my favourite time period of all time. So, yeah, and it's one of those things where they filmed it on, it's just a sitcom, but they filmed it on this set, I think in Italy, that was made for other films, and every time they came back, somebody else had upgraded the set, and so it's one of the most beautiful sitcoms. Like, they have these amazing ancient Roman streets and buildings, and it all just looks extraordinary for, like, a comedy show that's about three guys goofing off and, like,
more than
getting into trouble. Yeah.
From a sitcom. Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
So there we go. That's
really
my Kevin Bishop kind of connection.
Okay. Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then, if there is nothing else, we can wrap things up for this week. Tansy, thank you once again for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Yeah, always a delight. And as always, thanks to Morgan Davy for our show's logo. Listeners, you can find Tough Pigs on the internet at toughpigs.com, and we are all over social media as well as TeePublic and Patreon. You can check out the Tough Pigs Discord server, where we're always talking about this movie, other Muppet movies, other Muppet everythings. You can email us at movingrightalong@toughpigs.com. I'm on Letterboxd at Movies Are Neat. Anthony is on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist. I'm on Blue Sky at Me Ryan Rowe. Anthony is on Blue Sky at Durwood Clapper. And Tansy, please let our listeners know where they can find you and or your work online.
Okay, well, you can find my website at tansyrr.com. I'm at tansyrr at most of the social media things, including Threads, Blue Sky, and Instagram. You can find me on the Verity Doctor Who podcast, not quite as often as we used to, but we are currently putting out our episodes. And my latest...
we were just talking about that, though. You're covering the new episodes
We
now.
are, because, Doctor Who's currently happening. So, yes, Verity is continuing. And my latest novel is called Time of the Cat. It is about time travelers and talking cats. And it is a comedy.
Sounds great.
Yeah, it is.
That does sound great.
Exactly what it says on the tin. It is a time travel comedy about talking cats. And also the idea of time travelers going back in time to find episodes of lost TV shows and other forms of lost media. So, because what else would you use time travel for? So
I can't think of anything.
Yeah. Unless it's to go back and watch the making of your favourite films and find out all the extra behind-the-scenes details.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's such a cool idea. All right, yes, everyone please seek all those things out. And also, please let everyone please tell everyone you know about this podcast, and join us back again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Bye.
Kermit's outfit sold for $15,000.
Oh my goodness.
There it is.
Yeah.